Okay, so when it comes to functions, most of us, or maybe some of us, actually have seen some of them, and so I always work with them. So in terms of the basics, I'm gonna try my best to give you a basic idea of what's going on here. But the idea is the ability to have code that can be called in such a way that you can utilize to perform a certain task. One could argue that we've already done a bunch of functions. We've already used a bunch of functions, but now we have the ability to create them. So let's say, for example, we want to create a function. I'm going to do a simpler one before we actually do what the note said. Let's say we have a function. We're going to take x, okay, and we're just going to square this. Okay, this is a simple function just to find the squared value. So I'm going to go through the basics. If I just square this value, this function, this will be fine. But I need to name it so that I can actually utilize it. Okay, I'm going to use that as defining it. I can run it, then I can use it, square, maybe I should have said squared 8, okay, that's that. It works. 8 times 8 equals 64, we know that. What's nice about this is that, say for example, we want to create the capacity to make it an exponent, right? So we can just say, okay, exponent. We can do that. And this is nothing new. Exponent fun. I'm actually going to add the fun to it. So what this means is I have two inputs. Again, I'm assuming that you all know this. Comma 4. 3 times 3, 9 times 3, 27 times 3, come on, 81? Okay, it should be 81. Alright, so then when I run this, it should work. But the thing is, we can actually even have a default value, okay? This is, let's say, 2. So if I do not have a function, if I don't have an exponent, my default value would automatically be 2, so 3 squared. So this shouldn't be too crazy. What's great, in terms of R, what might be different from Python is that you can actually, you don't have to necessarily say return, but if you did say return, you have to put return in parentheses, okay, and that's going to still work. And so let's say, for example, you have some code underneath here. You say x boot 5 or 6. That last piece of code won't run. Okay, it's only going to run what after the return. It's only provide what's returned. Okay, so that's pretty much the basics of functions within R. Again, I'm assuming huge because a lot of people already knew about if and for loops. It's a safe assumption that you all already know about functions. So here, this is a nice, cool function. Calculate the area of the circle. You were taking pi. Pi is known as a constant within R. Let's see if that's true. It is. And then it's taking the radius. It's finding the area. Okay. So the thing is, I want you to take a moment and actually just modify this function and create it in such a way that you can actually change pi. I know pi is a constant, but imagine you can change pi. So take a moment and do that. Okay, so in doing that, I can just say, I'm going to make this capital pi. Okay. And I'm going to say my default, if not stated, is actually equal to pi. Okay. I know you shouldn't do this, but this is more so just practice of making sense of this function. How to use functions. So this works automatically because I automatically set it to pi. So if it doesn't run, if I don't provide it, it's going to automatically give it to me as that. But if I say this is comma 3, this is going to be 5 squared, which is 25, times 3 gives you 75. Okay, so that works. Let's just erase that so that we don't make mathematical mistakes. This next function, again, is interesting. Is that we can run it without any arguments. A function doesn't necessarily have to have any arguments in order for us to actually utilize this. So this is doing a bunch of things. So what this is doing is generating some random number in between 1 and 100, and then it's gonna allow you to guess. It says read line with prompts. Allow you to enter your guess, a number between the, ideally you should put it between 0 to 100 in such a way that you provide a guess, and if it actually is going to check if it actually is the right number. It's going to return that. If it's the wrong number, if it's too high, too low, it's going to guess. It's going to, based off of what you provided, it's going to see if it's too high. It's going to say that's too high. If it's too low, it's going to say it's too low, and it's going to allow you to do this 5 times. Okay. So hopefully I don't embarrass myself. You know what? I guess I can embarrass myself because it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna make this between 10, just so that I can win. Hopefully I win. Let's say it's 5. It's too low. Let's say it's 9. It says it's too low. Maybe it's 10. Congratulations. Yay. Okay, so a function doesn't say to have input. Okay, that's important to note. Okay. And the last but not least, this is kind of interesting. We can create functions to analyze text. We're going to use string R functions, and I don't think I loaded tidyverse. I'm pretty sure I didn't. No, I kind of did right here. Let me just run it again. Okay, I didn't. What this can do is can count the number of words as well as the number of sentences, as well as count the number of characters. That's what this function is doing, and then it provides it within a list, and then returns the list. Okay, so now when I run this on this sample data, it tells us it has 15 words. So I'm not going to count that. It says 2 sentences. Okay, it's 2 periods, and not periods. It has the ending of sentences. It also counts the characters as well. Okay, so you can do a bunch of different functions. It's important for me to discuss what a function is as well as those loops so that the next video makes sense. Okay. Thank you for your time. And great work. Thank you for keeping up with me. Thank you. I appreciate it. Really, sincerely. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.